We all get stuck. And when we get stuck, what do, Leah? We turn to negative things. We turn to unhealthy relationships. We turn to alcohol. We turn to drugs. We turn to overeating. We turn to sex. We turn to shopping sprees. We turn to all of these. We turn to anger, right? We turn to frustration. We turn to depression. We turn to a lot of different things because we get stuck. And sometimes we don't have the skill set just to move to a different place. There is no shame in being stuck. Most people are stuck in circumstances and in fact patterns that are beyond their control.
Hi, and welcome to another episode and another season of the Woman Witness podcast on the Woman Witness TV network. I'm your host, Leah Fortier. Here on this platform, we bring to you voices of dynamic women that are out there making a positive impact in their lives, in their family, and the community around them. Women of resilience, women of faith, women who have been through something, they have battled, and they have came out on the other side, and they are willing to come back, tell their story, be a witness, and pull another sister through. Today, I'm so excited to introduce to you my special guest today, Miss Cynthia Smalls. She's an author, a podcaster, a blogger, and a 9-year cancer survivor. She is dedicated to raising awareness and supporting her community through education, advocacy, and empowerment. Her first book, Push the Button, is a 7-step guide to design to help readers tap into their strength and their resilience and shifting forward to a more positive mindset. We'll dive into the inspiration behind her book and her journey as a survivor and how faith has played a critical role in the whole process. I am so excited to introduce to you my guest today, Miss Cynthia Smalls. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome to the Well. How are you?
Hi, Leah. It is a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you here, and just hearing your hearing a little bit about your journey as a cancer survivor, a 9-year cancer survivor, and knowing all the work that you have done in the meantime, in the between time, excuse me, from the time you were diagnosed. And I'm gonna let you tell a story from the time you were diagnosed to, what you are out here doing and raising awareness. I think it's so amazing. And I thank you for doing that. And I'm more excited to have you on to share with a lot of our readers a little bit more about that positive mindset. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And anytime that I get the opportunity to share that early detection saves lives, especially within our community, I will do that because, as you probably know, Leah, Black women
Mm.
are being diagnosed and passing away from breast cancer 42% more than our Caucasian sisters. So that's not a
Mhm.
good number.
No,
That's
it's
not a
not.
good number at all.
No, and I hope that you're going to get into some details as to why you think that is. I mean, it's a huge difference. So let me start by asking you about your book and this is how you shaped your advocacy, right? So, what inspired you to write "Push the Button," and what do you hope that readers are taking away from it?
I was inspired to push the button. Honestly, God put it on my heart.
Mm,
Not, as you stated, 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I
wow.
did not have a history of breast cancer in my family. I went for
Mm,
a regular mammogram, just my annual mammogram. And the nurse asked me, Miss Smalls, do you want to have a 3D mammogram? Leah, I didn't even know what it was. And I
Mm.
said, she explained it to me, and she said, it's
Yeah.
like two TVs. One TV is from 1972, and one TV is from 2002. They
Mm.
both give you a color picture. They both give you a clear picture, but that 2002 TV will give you a sharper, clearer, more in-depth picture. So
Mm.
I said, "All right, I'll do it." I was super casual about it,
Right.
and that simple act saved my life because the cancer was very deep in my breast. It would not have been picked up on a traditional regular mammogram.
Oh my.
So that led me to having a lumpectomy, having radiation. And while I was going through that process, they give you lots of information and support groups and websites and videos. And I didn't see one woman that looked like me.
Oh wow.
Every woman that I saw and all of this information was white.
Wow.
And that was hurtful to me. It actually impeded some of my healing. And I
Mm.
said to myself, when I get better, I have to do something. But I really had no idea, Leah, what I
What?
was going to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And God just put on my heart to do a blog. I didn't know anything about blogging. Um, I did not know anything.
Yeah.
But I am here to tell you that God will qualify you if He calls you.
Good.
And I was able to, little by little, learn the things that I needed to learn to. Let me figure out how to do this so that
Yeah.
I can do the next step. I didn't have a grand plan. I
Yeah.
kind of just took it one
One
step
step.
at a time. And I literally said, all right, God, this is your assignment, and you know, you the one you called. This is not my, it's not my wheelhouse. This is not my
Mm.
comfort zone. This is none of those things. So I
Mm.
did the blog. I founded my blog in 2021,
Yeah.
and it's been a learning process.
Yeah.
And after about a year or so of that, I said, there's just so many people that just get stuck. They
Mm.
get stuck in a negative space, right? So, because as the young folks say, life be lifing, right?
Okay. Yes.
Life be lifing, and it can be something as simple as I got a promotion on my job and now I'm anxious. It
Mm.
could be something as serious as I am sick, or now I have to be a caretaker to an elderly parent. It can be a lot, so many different things. And people get stuck in that negative space, not knowing how to move forward. So that's what prompted me to write the book.
Wow. Wow. Just, and, I hear a lot of stories, and, to hear the simplicity of just going in for a regular mammogram or a regular checkup, right? You thinking you're going to be in and out. And, kudos to this doctor who said, hey, let's just get a deeper look. And kudos to you for hearing the call and doing it. Let me ask you, because in that moment, I know there's some type of fear, right? Doesn't there some fear
Yes,
come with, the fear of the unknown? Well, I'm not being bothered. I'm not experiencing any pain. So why go digging for something, right? If you will. And I
right.
think this is a lot of our mentalities of our mindset. But talk to me about that. Did you fear anything, or did you feel like something was wrong prior to going in?
I had no symptoms. I didn't feel that anything was wrong. I actually felt really good. I remember being in the doctor's office. I was really low key about it. I said, okay, you all right.
Yeah.
I didn't really give it a lot of thought. And I had been going to this particular radiologist for a number of years. So they had my
Mhm.
breast history.
Right.
And when he came in, he says, Cynthia, we have an issue. So I knew that it was serious. Um, but in that moment, I kind of was just, all right, what do I need to do? But I was thankful, Leah, that I had insurance and I was able to have a mammogram, because there are women out there that don't have insurance. And as women, we are caretakers. We are making sure the kids are in school, the kids got lunch. We're making sure the husband, the partner, the spouse, the job, the neighbor, the church. we're making sure everyone is okay. And we're way in the back.
I'll
We're
get to
way
it.
in the back, not
Yeah.
top on the priority list. So, in addition to just opening up our community to early detection is a good thing, it's also for us as women self care. It is self care because we're not teaching our daughters
Mm,
about breast health. I didn't learn about breast health
mm.
because my family didn't know. You know, that wasn't an option, but we have that option now. So
Yeah.
that's important. That's important.
Wow. Wow. That's deep. Oh, we could sit there for a minute, and you're absolutely right. But I think something that you touched on that was so crucial and so critical was insurance. I mean, it's sometimes I feel like when we do have insurance, we forget about those who don't. Or
Yes.
maybe we just don't think about it. And what are there things out there, or there programs out there to help some of us in those communities? I'm pretty sure you're going to get into this, Cynthia, and are
Yes.
in some of the, deep in the communities who don't have insurance. A lot of self-employed women and men don't have health insurance. It's so expensive. Talk to me about that.
Yes. Well, I will tell you that fortunately in this country, in most of our major cities, you will find resources, especially in October, that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
But people don't know they're really available all year long,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we will often see in our communities, I call them the little mammo vans, right? They're the
Yeah.
traveling
Yeah.
vans.
Yeah.
They're usually sponsored by hospitals. They're usually sponsored by clinics. Some communities have grassroots organizations that have the clinics, that have the mammo vans that will go into the community
Mm,
and offer free mammograms. So I
mm,
would encourage any woman, any man, because men get breast cancer too,
mhm,
um, to contact your local hospital. They
mm.
have resources that a lot of times, and especially in our community, we're just not aware of.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you have to vocalize and you have to advocate for yourself. I am XYZ and I feel like I need a mammogram. There's
Yeah.
so many resources out there. We just have to reach out a little bit to grab a hold.
Let me ask you, this is going off my notes, but what is the age? I mean, I was always told that, the age they start doing mammograms are 50, 60 years old. What is the age that you would recommend starting this, advocate, say, hey, you know what? I think I want to get one this year.
So I believe that right now the CDC recommends that women start at age 45.
Mm-hmm.
However, if your mom, if your grandmother, if
Mm-hmm.
your auntie, if your sister,
Mm-hmm.
if your father, right? If you have people in your immediate family that have had breast cancer, you have to communicate that to your physician. You have to communicate that because there's a whole little formula that doctors use to
Yeah.
calculate your individual risk. We
Risk.
each have an individual risk. So I have an individual risk. You have an individual risk.
Right.
Every woman, every man watching, but primarily women watching, have an individual risk. And it can be
Mm.
something as simple as saying to your doctor, hey, when should I start having mammograms? That opens the door for them to ask the questions.
Okay, Cynthia, talk to us about it. Okay, so your book is a 7-step guide that can give us a glimpse. Can you give us a glimpse into like the most impactful steps that you would recommend that we
So
be
I would
active?
say in the second chapter, there are 7 steps. And for the non-readers out there, it's a short read. It's less than 60 pages.
Mhm.
And I did that purposefully to reach more people. I'm an avid reader. Not
Mhm.
everyone is an avid reader. You know,
Right.
I could pick a 300-page book up and be really, really happy, but
Yeah.
that's not everybody's cup of
Yeah.
tea. You know,
Y'all be busy.
yeah. But I would say the most impactful step in the process is chapter 2, which is called pause. Because in relation to my breast cancer, I was detected, not detected, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I literally had to pause. I had to pause on an emotional level. I had to pause on a spiritual level. I had to pause to gather myself for this journey. I had to accept this has happened to me, not my neighbor, not my church sister, not my coworker, but this has happened to me.
Mm.
And I don't have any control over that part, but I can control how I respond. And I physically and emotionally, and for me, it was about a weekend. I was given my diagnosis on a Thursday. And by that Monday, I said, okay, my head is totally in the game. Let's do it. Like whatever I have to do so that I can live, so I could be here for my husband, for my daughter, let's do it.
Mm.
That will look different for other people,
Yeah.
depending on what your challenges, because we all have different challenges. We all get stuck. And when we get stuck, what do, Leah? We turn to negative things. We turn to unhealthy relationships. We
Yeah.
turn to alcohol. We turn to drugs. We
Yeah.
turn to overeating. We turn to sex. We
Yeah.
turn to shopping sprees. We
Yeah.
turn to all of these. We turn to anger, right? We turn
Mm.
to
Come on.
frustration. We turn to depression. We turn to a lot of different things
Come on.
because we get stuck. And sometimes we don't have the skill set just to move to a different place. So, my book is for those of us, and I include myself in the us, because I have worked these steps. I have personally done the work of all of these steps
Yeah.
because it is important. And sometimes I check in with myself like, ooh, I'm feeling a little stressed. It's a lot.
Mm.
I got a lot going on. And I stop myself and think, okay, what do I need to do for myself so I
Mm.
don't get stuck? And sometimes it's preventative. But if you're already stuck, you got to dig your way out sometimes. And
Mm.
that's okay. There is no shame in
Mm.
being stuck. Most people are stuck in circumstances and in fact patterns that are beyond their control.
Oh, that's so good, Miss Cynthia. That is so good. We could sit there
Thank you.
so long because you're right. I think, when you find out, when you get that, bad news or you go through something, we do get stuck. I mean, so, I can speak for myself too. I have said just some stuff like, what am I going to do? And you sit here and worry yourself, and that turns into, a burden that keeps you stuck. I love that. Okay. Was there a defining moment in your own journey where it made you realize that this book is needed for right now?
Well, I will say that I experienced the majority of COVID as a resident in New York. And I
Mm,
say
mm,
that specifically because different people who lived in different parts of the country had a different COVID experience. But I
mm,
experienced COVID working from home, being very limited in what I could go out and do
yeah,
safely. And so I spent a lot of time at home and spent a lot of time with myself. And I
mm,
realized that I was feeling a little sad at times. And
mm,
I was in a situation, I didn't start COVID, I didn't control it. I was in a situation beyond my control. And that's what kind of started me to realizing if I'm in this place, other people are in this place too. If I'm in this place, there are other Black women who are
yeah,
in this place. And because we, a lot of times, are not brought up with coping mechanisms, right?
mm,
Our coping mechanisms become laughter. Our
mm,
coping mechanisms become food. Our coping mechanisms become sitting in front of the TV and binge watching whatever
mhm,
latest
mhm.
show, right? On that
Scrolling.
latest platform.
Yep. Growing
And
alone.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that becomes our coping mechanism. And those things do nothing to move you.
Yeah.
They do nothing to say, come on, Cynthia, come on, Leah. This is not the spot. I
Yeah.
know I don't want to be here, and I'm here, but I don't know how to dig myself out. And my book, God put it on my heart. I did not set out to write a book. It was not my desire to write a book. But God
Really
said, He said, this is your assignment. So, and I had a long conversation with God. Well, we had a couple
good.
conversations, Miss Leah.
Come
We
on.
had we had a couple conversations, Miss Leah, because I was not, I did not want to do it.
Mm.
I didn't want to do it. I said, why me? I don't have a degree in psychology. Why me?
Who am I? Yeah.
And God said, because I say so, because this is your assignment. And it really started me on a trust journey with God. And I finally said, I yield. I yield. I can't hold out no longer. I'm going to be obedient.
Mm.
And when I made that, when I got to that place, Miss Leah, it just started to flow out of me.
Oh,
It just started to flow.
born. Who I'm literally about to burst out of my chair right now. I love it. I know the feeling.
Yes.
I know when you like, who am I? And then you get that when it's just flowing, you don't have time to think about it. It's just flowing. Okay, I just have to write. Are you a paper writer or you just typing?
I am, I'm both. I am old fashioned. Let me outline my thoughts.
Yeah. Yep.
That's where I am. Um,
Mhm.
once I get my outline, then I
Yep.
sat and
Yeah.
I can, I
Yeah.
started doing the
Yeah.
word start doing the word document, but
Yeah.
it all kind of circled
Mm.
back for me um, with Second Corinthians
Mm.
12, verse 9. That was my foundational scripture when I was going through my own personal breast cancer journey. And
Mm.
that says, but he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness.
Mm.
And that was
Mm.
my foundational scripture. And so when I went to, I'm going to write this book, I just fell back to my foundational scripture.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I said, God, I see it. I see the link from here, from the breast cancer journey to the blog, now the book. I get
Come
it.
on.
I get it. I get it. And then I was comfortable writing. I was comfortable with the downloads that he was sharing with me to
Yeah.
give to people, to give to people.
Wow. My grace is sufficient in your weakness. That is, you know what? I love that so much. And this is why I feel that it's been so easy. Not easy, let's be clear, but moving forward in the things that are of God. And I have to always remind God, God, you know I'm out here weak. You know I don't know what I'm doing. I have to remind him.
Yes,
I
yes,
look, Lord, it don't matter what it looked like. You know I'm out here struggling, and please don't leave me now. Um,
yes,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. I love that. Okay, how can someone struggling with fear and doubt and that guilt of maybe I should have known, maybe I should have done something sooner? How can your book help them through that process right there?
My book helps people to tap into that inner strength and
Yeah.
that inner resilience that is already there.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just covered up, right? Because things happen. We have experiences,
Yeah.
um, we have hurts,
Yeah.
and a lot of times our I like to call them lights. Our little lights, your little light of being an optimistic person can get trampled on. It can get covered up
Mm-hmm.
if you're working in an environment that is hostile, or you're working in an environment that's stressful, right? And
Yeah.
you don't know how to process it, you don't know how to channel it. So, what happens to that little light of optimism? It disappears, but it's still there. It's still on the inside. So my book just allows people to tap into the inner strength, that resilience that is there. It's already there. We just got to dig it out. We just got to do some work. We just got to be uncomfortable on our journey, because life is a journey, right? Where you
Yeah.
start life, where you are in your 20s, is
Yeah.
not where you are in your 50s, right?
Mm-mm. You
And
shouldn't
if
be.
you're doing the same thing in your 20s,
Yeah.
your 50s that you were doing in your 20s, oh, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing you're doing something wrong. So along the way, when we know better,
Yeah.
we can do better. So if you had a broken toe, Miss Leah, you would go to the doctor and say, "Hey, wait a minute, I need some help."
Right.
So if you need some emotional help, you need some spiritual help, you need some help with your personality,
Mm.
there are so many books, there's so many resources to help people. And my book is just one of those resources.
I love that, Cynthia. I love the way you put that. What's one piece of advice from your book that you wish you would have known early on in your journey?
I personally wished that I would have rested. I wish that I would have rested more. Looking back,
Mm,
I know that I was like a little hamster on the wheel.
yeah.
I was on the wheel. I just kept going. I kept going because I was afraid if I
Mhm.
stopped, I was going to collapse.
Really?
I felt if I stopped, I was going to collapse, and I was going to start to cry, Miss Leah,
Mm,
and I would not be able to stop.
mm.
So I put all this pressure on myself, keep going, and I kept myself busy, and I wish that I would have stopped and
Yeah.
just allowed myself to feel what I needed to feel. I didn't deal with my feelings of being a breast cancer patient until I was a breast cancer survivor.
Really? Okay. Oh, talk to me about that.
And that was not the smartest move. I can say that. Um,
Shoot.
in that moment in time back in 2016,
Interesting.
I was concerned about being strong for my husband and my daughter.
Yeah.
I was concerned. I was like, okay, they're now being thrust into this, right? Little
Mm,
matrix that I got going on. I don't want them to worry about me.
mm,
I don't want them to feel like I'm gonna fall apart.
mm.
So I had on I had on my black woman super cape. I
Let's
had on my
go. Let's
superhero
go.
cape. I had it tied really tight, and I had it on, and I just kept going. And it was not until I was had had my lumpectomy, I had my radiation, and my husband took me on a cruise,
Mhm.
and I was able to sit uninterrupted, not thinking about the next treatment, not thinking about pills. I was able to sit. I remember I sat on the side of that boat, I sat on that ship, and I cried. I cried for myself. I cried out of my own. Cynthia, why were you so stubborn?
Mm.
I had a moment where I realized how wrong I had been and
Oh.
how unkind.
Huh?
I had been unkind to myself. I had been unkind to myself.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
I had to apologize
mm,
to
mm, mm.
myself that I didn't treat myself as well as I should have. And I want, if
Mm,
people, if ladies who are watching this, be kind to yourself. Be
mm,
sweet with yourself. If you need rest, lay down, sit on
mm.
the couch, Put your feet up. There are no awards, Miss Leah. I'm going to tell you. There are no
Mm,
awards for
mm.
having the Superwoman cape on.
No.
And in our community and our culture, we are
Yeah.
that's the norm.
Yep.
What you mean you tired?
Yes.
What you
Yes.
mean?
Look
What you
at
mean you tapping out?
that.
What you mean? What you mean? What do you mean?
Mm,
So we have to just normalize. I'm tired. I need a break. And I
yeah.
need help. I need
Yeah.
help.
Wow. Miss Cynthia, I want to thank you so much for just breaking that down, because I believe that you spoke to so many women, and I'm telling you, you spoke right to me, because you are absolutely right. We are in this robotic mode all the time. I mean, I have three little ones and I have two older boys that are grown and out in college. But I have three little ones, and let me tell you, let's just hypothetically, let's say, like, when the flu, when it hits your house, and it goes from kid to kid to kid. The next thing you know, it's been 2 weeks and you realize you are on autopilot. And then all of a sudden you get sick, and you don't, I talk to myself, and you don't sit down, and you
Right.
keep pushing through. I'm sorry, that hit me really, really hard, because it wasn't until my husband was like, sit down,
Right.
stop,
Right.
everything will be all right. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves, like you said, to sit down. And you said something that just warmed my heart. You said you had to cry for yourself on that
Mm-hmm.
boat.
Yeah, I
Cry
had to
for
cry for myself. And that is the time, once I got back home, I started using positive affirmations.
mm,
I'm really big on positive affirmations,
mm.
because I think it can change your mindset.
Yes, it
It
can.
it can shift, using myself as an example. My second book, which is Positive Affirmations for Breast Cancer Fighters and Survivors, is the book I needed when I was a patient, but I couldn't find it. And
Mm,
it's simple. It's 77 days of a positive affirmation that go from the physical that you experience as a fighter or a survivor of breast cancer, to the emotional, to the mental, to my hair is gone. My hair has fallen out, but I'm still here and I'm still beautiful.
come on.
And we have to feed ourselves. And that's
Mm,
one thing I learned on this journey. I can't depend on my husband, my daughter. I can't depend on outside people to do the work of feeding me, because I have to feed myself. People feed themselves in different ways, but one big thing for me is positive affirmations. And because it can shift my day. And I can identify, my daughter is grown now, she's 30 years old. But
yeah.
I remember the days when she was in elementary school and junior high school,
Yeah.
and I was running and doing. And at the end of the day, you're sitting on the couch, you're exhausted.
Done.
You're exhausted, and you realize the kids ate, the husband got clean clothes, everybody's good, but I haven't drunk water. I haven't taken my vitamins.
Wow.
And it's 8 o'clock at night. So we get stuck in those little spaces. And there's
Yeah.
sometimes spaces of love, but we
Yeah.
get stuck in those little spaces. And the people around us, they love us, but they often just don't see.
They don't see it. Yeah.
They don't see because it's our norm. It's our norm. It's our norm. Our children are accustomed. My daughter was accustomed to at the last minute. I need so and so for school tomorrow.
I know that's right. What?
Okay, come on, let's get in the car. We're going. She was accustomed to that. Why? Because I allowed it. Because I was so busy. So if we treat ourselves with kindness and love, it goes a long way on our individual journeys.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Miss Cynthia. Hold on. I had to ask you, 77 days. Why 77?
No rhyme or reason,
Okay.
but no rhyme or reason. It just turned out to be 77. No rhyme or reason.
Okay. I was waiting on this story too behind it. Okay. What are some ways that people can support breast cancer survivors, beyond just awareness campaigns, or what are some ways that we can continue to support?
So the most important thing is to normalize breast health for
Mm.
yourself and for the other, your mother, your niece, your little sister at church.
Yeah.
Normalize breast health. What does your individual healthy breast look like? We have
Mm.
to normalize touching ourselves. I created a video, um, how women can do a breast self exam,
Oh, really?
how to physically do it, because that's one of the things that I talk about,
Hmm.
and I share with women. You should be doing your breast exam, your breast self exam. They call it a BSE, once a month, on the same day every month, usually about 5 days after your menstrual cycle. If you're a menstruating woman, if you're not a menstruating woman, then it's this, you just pick a day and
Hmm.
do it the same day every month. But
Yeah,
if you have the habit, Miss Leah, if you have a daughter, you'll make sure your daughter has the habit.
that's
And
true.
she'll make sure her daughter has the habit.
Yeah.
And you know, your daughter will go to college. She might say to her college roommate, "Hey girl, did you do your breast self exam?" Let's face it, you're 18, 19, 20. That is not what you are thinking about.
Right.
But it could save your life.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, is just normalizing breast health, and sharing that with others. And if you know someone that is going through active treatment for breast cancer, offer to pick them up a meal, or
Mm.
bring them a meal.
Mm.
Um, Offer to take them to the park. Do you
Mm.
feel up to, let's just go to the park and sit on the bench, and so
Mm.
you can get some fresh air, so the sun can touch your face. It's not always I need my clothes washed. And those are things to help. Those are ministries. Some people can't do that. They say, "Hey girl, can I pick up your medicine? You got some meds there? Let me pick them up for you." So it's different things. And sometimes people just want to laugh. "Can I come over? Let's watch a funny movie. Let me get away from this. Let me get away from my reality for just 2 hours. Let's
Mm.
put on a funny movie. Let's laugh. Let's play some cards. Let's play a game." Just keying in to how to bring a little bit of comfort
Mm.
to a lady um, that's going through breast cancer treatment.
Wow. Wow, I love that. Just yeah, you're absolutely right. A little laughter, a little sunlight will take you a long, long way. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone who is just newly diagnosed and feeling overwhelmed?
I would tell them, take a lot of deep breaths. It's a journey, it's a marathon, it is not a sprint. And advocate, talk. And if you are not good at advocating for yourself, bring your sister, your neighbor, your church friend. A lot of information is thrown at you when you are newly diagnosed. A lot of terms, a lot of terminology. You got to see this doctor. It's a lot. It is overwhelming. Bring someone with you when you're going to your
Yeah.
doctor visits, because you need another set of ears and another set of eyes to
Yeah.
help you, because you can't digest all that information, because 2 days later you might think, "What did the doctor say I'm not supposed to eat?" And you don't have a clue. Bring other people in, get a support team, get your support system, and know that I can call on Mary to come with me to my doctor meeting, my doctor appointments.
Mm.
But I can count on Betty, and Betty will come and watch my movies with me. And
Yes.
I can count on Joan, because Joan will come, and if I'm not feeling like I can cook, Joan will bring me something to eat.
Yeah.
And then when you are done, when you are in survivorship, pay it back. Help somebody else, because it's being a survivor is more than raising money. It is about helping other women
Yeah.
on the journey to have a better time than you had.
Wow, Miss Cynthia. Oh my goodness. And you're absolutely right. Talking about community and how I can hear your faith. Your faith has definitely carried you through. If you could share one message of hope to our audience today, what would it be?
The message of hope that I would share is it's going to be all right,
Mm,
right? Realistically, many of us survive breast cancer. It's all right. But some of us don't survive breast cancer,
mm,
and it's all right. It's not easy and it's not nice, but it's all right
mm,
because the overarching theme is love. And that's self love, love with others. And I would like to think that when we are all at the end of our life journey, whether it's breast cancer, whether it is whatever disease,
right.
we all want to say, it's all right. It's all right. I've done what I'm supposed to do. It's okay. You survive. I'm ecstatic. I am happy for everybody that rings the bell when they
Mm,
have their last cancer treatment
yeah.
because it's all right. But even if you don't survive in this life from breast cancer, it's all right
Yeah.
because you are going to a place
Mm,
where you will be 100%. You won't have cancer. You won't have pain. You won't have chemo. You won't have radiation. Your hair will not be on the floor. You
mm,
will not be suffering. You will be with the king. So that's hard to accept,
mm,
but it's all right.
mm.
Even in death, it's all right.
Thank you for sharing that. I think just everything that you said, it's coming from not something you read in a book, not something you seen hanging on a wall somewhere. It's coming through what you have lived and what you've experienced. And those people who are going through it right now and they don't know, they're stuck, they don't know, they're looking at you, and for you to be able to give them something that is right now, something that you have been through, speaks louder, speaks more volume than anything that they can read in a book or see hanging up somewhere. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, and leaving that hope right there. It's all right.
Yes. Thank you so
um,
much.
okay, Miss Cynthia, before I let you go and get you out of here, I want to know where we can find these books, and do you have them that you can show and share with our audience?
Yes, you can. This is my first book, Push the Button. It's available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And my second book, little print is a little tougher to see.
I love that.
Positive Affirmation Journal for Breast Cancer Fighters and Survivors. They're both available on Amazon. If you go to
Mhm.
Amazon and put my name in the little search box, Cynthia
Mhm.
Smalls, I will come up and both of the books are there.
I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Cynthia. Miss Cynthia, what's next? What's next for you? What can we expect to come out
I
of it?
am working on my third book,
I knew it.
which is going to hopefully I will have that done by June of this year, June, July this year.
Perfect.
And I am just advocately just out here on my blog, Melanin and Pink Ribbons, advocating, informing um, um, about breast health in our community. So they can always find me there too. And they can go there to get information. They can get videos and information with women that look like them.
I love that. And we can follow you on social media too at Melanin.
Yes, you can follow me. The blog, you can find me at www.melaninpinkribbons.com. I'm on Facebook as author Cynthia
Okay.
Smalls, and I'm on Instagram as author Cynthia Smalls.
Okay, perfect. And I'll also put that in the description below or have it running across the screen when your episode airs. Miss Cynthia, I want to thank you so much for coming and pouring at this well. You have touched me so much, and I cannot wait. I know so many women that are going to be able to watch this and be encouraged. You spoke to what's so beautiful about you and what you spoke today. You spoke to women in every stage in different places of their journey, and that's what it's all about. And I thank God that he has touched you, that he's using you as a vessel to continue to change lives. You are doing the Lord's work, so thank you so much. Miss Cynthia.
Thank you, Miss Leah.
Okay, before I let you go, give us something to hold on to for the rest of the week.
Have a beautiful day. Let the sun shine on your face.
Come on.
Let the sun shine on your face. It's all right.
It's all right. All right. Thank you so much. Ladies, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Woman Witness podcast on the Woman Witness TV network. I want to thank my guest today, Miss Cynthia Smalls. Thank you for pouring at this well. I am full. Ladies, I hope that you are full as well. We ask that you take this episode, you share it with a friend, share it with a family member. Don't give them no description. Just say, this is for you. I need you to be encouraged, and I need you to know that it's going to be all right. And please follow Cynthia on all social medias. Of course, hit that subscribe button because we want you to make sure that you do not miss another episode of the Woman Witness podcast. All right. And perhaps you were chosen for such a time as this to write, to tell your story, your truth. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.